Sign up for free Stratfor Intelligence. Simply enter your email address to receive 2 free reports each week.
U.S. Vice President Joe Biden kicked off the official part of his 2-day tour to Moscow today. It is his first visit to Russia since taking office. The trip comes at a very interesting time in which Russian-U.S. relations are pretty ambiguous after the so-called reset in 2009. All the hostilities and differences of years past still remain. Vice President Biden is someone that Moscow watches very closely. This is because of a 2009 speech Biden gave at the Munich conference in Bucharest, in which he blasted the Russians for maintaining a Soviet mentality in attempting to dominate Eurasia. Since then, there was the so-called reset, in which Russia and the United States pulled back from being overtly aggressive into attempting to show that relations were warmer and that there was more flexibility and they could work together and cooperate on many issues. The main reasons for the so-called reset are, first, Russia was becoming more comfortable in its dominance over the former Soviet states that it could change tactics. Russia could start moving back and forth between being unilaterally hostile to more cooperative in order to use each tactic depending on what worked best for the relationship at that time. At the same time, the United States was becoming dangerously entrenched in the Islamic theater, to the point where it pretty much couldn't give any focus or bandwidth into its relationship and issues in Eurasia. It got to the point to where the United States needed Russia to help out with certain issues in the Islamic theater, such as Iran and Afghanistan. But the problem is that all the differences of past still remain. The number one issue between Russia and the United States is the division of their power and dominance in Eurasia. Russia, as I said, has dominated the former Soviet states, but it has also in recent years created a strategic bargain with Germany and France, creating this very powerful axis across the European continent. At the same time, the United States has created a very solid alliance with not only Poland, but the Central Europeans. This has geographically divided Europe. Not only that, it has started to divide and bleed over into NATO relations, seeing a fracture along the exact same geographic lines between Russian issues and Russian influence and the United States' power. So the question is, what happens when the United States starts wrapping up in the next few years its focus on the Islamic theater and actually has the ability to turn back into Eurasia? What happens to all the differences that have been put aside that will naturally lead to a conflict between the United States and Russia once again? This is the question which Biden is discussing with Russian President Dmitry Medvedev and Prime Minister Vladimir Putin. This is the issue in which the United States is starting negotiations on with Russia before things lead back to an overt conflict. This is not an easy discussion, a simply resolvable discussion, or one in the short term, but it is the issue that will define Eurasia as a whole, as well as NATO itself, for the coming years.